Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 14, day 5. It is April 7th, 2017. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only, to support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, Jedi traders, ending the week off on a flat session once again. After a Thursday flat, Friday flat, but that didn't mean there weren't pockets of trend, but obviously market in consolidation as we lead into the month of April here, 1 week down. Price action on the overnight, obviously in result to the U.S. missile strike overseas in Syria. As the Globex session last night, missiles away just prior to the midnight open actually there, and price action just completely ripped downside even more as we got closer to that midnight open. So Globex session overall was not looking very pretty. Crude got a lift there, as well as the GC and the yen a little bit. Euro actually not playing along with the rest of the markets, but there it was across the board on the U.S. indices downside. All right, as we do each morning, 15 minutes prior to the market open, looking for a where we are currently in trend. Price action this morning on the screen share settled down a little bit after the NQ had actually just closing out. I showed this last night on online here. Sticking to the MMLs, you got yourself a nice entry to the downside. This was a higher time frame chart, 15 tick, and waffling in between the major and support resistance till you got a nice move off the upside and continued to run. So markets were able to regain a little traction over here, and then pre-market, the indices had already pulled back a little bit, but all across the board, pretty much quiet, maybe perhaps waiting not only for the, we see the non-farm payroll results came out here already, but market action maybe waiting to see the results of the overseas military strike. All right, so this morning we opened up our VIX at 1276. The NQ, we were looking upside on pre-market on the MMLs. Again, the whole idea is entry off the support. You could take off one along the way, run them all the way up top. Combine them with the HA bars, Heikin Ashi bars in trend, and you got yourself a nice combo, a strategy that works in unison. So NQ looking upside today, 54.29 up to 54.88. That was the levels we were looking for at 29 up to 54.88, and we came at a high of 54.36 today. Downside, we were looking at 53.90 all the way down to 53.12, and the NQ actually popping down here to around 54.06. So just a little bit shy of that 53.90 target. So by the MML levels, we've been holding on to that weekly VWAP, unable to break upside. So again, today's upside 54.36. So really unable to just about break up the weekly major support and resistance. So we'll take a look at those charts here in a little bit, but there was our pre-market and the TPO, time profile, volume profile, not volume profile, but time profile analysis here. Again, very balanced market yesterday. We saw in the NQ pretty range bound, and then finally 100% pretty much net short. We could see the average daily range already downside on the fact that on the news last night, we don't usually see a range like this. Almost looks like a U.S. regular trading hour session, but overnight sell-off here. You could see on the midnight open, price action that came down, set in a Globex low that really never revisited here. And price action, so there's your ADR levels, and we pretty much spun our wheels around this Globex high today, average daily range high, and VPOC here on the blue. All right, so there was our NQ. ES, we were looking at the levels here, 23.59 up to, on the MMLs, 23.59 up here, all the way up to 23.12 on the higher time frames. Downside, we're looking at 23.43 to 23.12. ES pulling in a high here today of 23.6075, so coming in with that 23.59 upper levels. MML, nice move, 15-minute. We didn't get much of a change on the MML charts here in today's open. Downside on the ES reaching around down here around 23. Today's low putting in about 23.47, so coming in just about shy of the target downside. 23.43 was the first level. All right, so there was our levels. Again, you're looking, just keeping it simple, guys, at first, as sometimes these charts can reset themselves, but you're looking for the upside, you're looking for the downside, and then when you put the combination in with the HA bars, you got yourself a trend. You can see overall this week we've been struggling here in between the major support and resistance and support, and the weekly VWAP here on the 60-minute chart. Appreciate the ES Globex here. Again, 100% net short as of the previous day's session, and the commentary there as I post each morning from the Shadow Trader. We got a double bottom from the last two previous sessions, that value area repairing that move back from 4 or 5 there, and then the net short overnight downside. But again, we were opening up near the point of control and the daily gap from the previous session. So the fact that since recovering, we might have just opened up in balance, but that was a level that we were watching downside 23.44, but the ES really only coming within a little bit of that. All right, so where'd we go? Indices opened up pretty much this morning. Price action lifting to the upside. That was the first move out of the gate after non-farm payrolls result and the military strike. That were about the two biggest things on the news piece. Any other highlights in the market? NQ ended up taking a nosedive here on a 15-tick chart. There was your first move up to the VWAP. So again, you have yourself a solid body Heikin Ashi bar, tails up. We're looking at HA bars again. If this is your first time watching the charts here, HA bars, very different than regular candles. You're looking for trending candles that keep you in the move, and you're looking for either direction, long or short, for price action either above or below the 50-144. That's the whole idea of the strategy, looking for Heikin Ashi bars in trend above the 50 and the 144. So NQ with its first move here, solid body tails up. We're all in the green, looks great. First move upside, weekly VWAP. Indices turn it around. We got ourselves a move back downside. Notice the turnaround here off 54.29, which is right around the weekly VWAP here. If you take the short entry right there, you got yourself a target downside, 54.10 all the way down to 53.90. Whether it's on the 15-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, there it is. Notice the 5-minute chart, a little bit different support levels. 53.90 was all the way to the downside. On the 5-minute chart, you have yourself a little bit smaller distance as price action. So from the MML high, together with the HA bars in trend, again, the strategy for me is to know at least I have a trend direction. All right, so first I'd say most likely probability probably wouldn't have been until you got yourself underneath the cloud, but early setup here right off the MMLs, turn around, HA bars, counter trend, gives you to the move to the downside, and whatever portion of this move that you were able to catch, that would be the idea. Again, the higher probability move below the cloud here that we were going to continue down to these lows. Once we were at the lows, price action turned itself back around. You could wait for the breakout above 54.10. 54.10 would have put you around here, where finally we got the 534 crossover. So nice move on the NQ to the upside. All right, as price action led through the morning session, then finally in the PM, the GC, 6J, and 6E are already on a roll downside. Nice move. And the overall market finally caught up. So while you have your 3 up top moving down, you end up finding that the bottom 3 in the upswing, and that's exactly how you'd like to see it each day. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen all the way. All right, NQ full session. So there's our move on a 15-tick chart. We saw that move upside down. Retrace, opening price, closing price. There it is. Flat session, guys, holding to the VWAPs. and holding to the MML lines that we'll see here also in a little bit. YM, similar picture. Again, small pockets of trend here on a 10-7, opening price, close price within a shouting distance of each other. Uptrend, downtrend below, back upside above the cloud. Again, if you're just looking for the entries above or below the cloud, that's a strategy. If you're looking for the highest probability setups, that's where you're going to have all green. The dots above the candle indicating that everything is in sync. You're above the cloud, you're above the 534 is in sync, and you have yourself a green light. So whatever pocket of opportunity you have, we're talking about an initial move. We're not talking about something that's moving up and then all of a sudden it shows up. You definitely want to wait for the pullback and then move back upside. All right, wrap it up on the ES here. Price action again. Nice 5-4 flex Renko, downside, upside again, still chopping flat. We don't even see the opening price here because it's hidden behind the close. So a flat, complete flat on the ES today. But when we say flat, that doesn't mean there aren't pockets of trend. All right, so NQ, how'd we do on the TPO? Again, pretty much similar price action, a lot of balance. Again, a rip downside this morning. Down setting in today's low. Here's our average daily range low, never hitting that, pretty much settling around the Globex high, average daily range high up here, spending a lot of time up there. And the ES, how'd we do? There it is, average daily range getting a little lift. As price action lifts, all right, with the Globex low, our average daily range will low based on the number here, 16.69. So from the Globex low, if our Globex high, if today's high lifts up higher, then we get a higher ADR low. If we get price action moving down lower, then we would this level would shift, as well as the ADR would shift downside as well. So I want to go ahead and show you why that line shifts there. It's all relative to the price action during the session. Okay, there we are. Balance profile from the previous day. Overnight sell-off on the military strike and back upside, down farm payrolls. Balance profile, again, single prints upside, single prints pretty much downside. A little weak on the lower level here, but not too bad. Balance profile overall giving us a good impression to the market today. All right, so how do we finish off the week here? Let's jump in right to the charts. Take a look at volume profile. Again, looks pretty good today. Here's the volume profile taking on the point of control. 600-day VPOC, keep that in mind on your charts, 53.67. Take a look at the daily gaps. We're all finishing downside from the week as the NQ made its 3 all-time highs. Doji bar, doji bar, doji bar, all across the board. Indecision, indecision. Nothing shouting us out here on the AD lines as we pretty much held to the pivot here today on the NQ, and S&P finishing flat today. Hey guys, we saw the charts here. Overall, it was the top line that really made the move. Crude on the move on the upside on the Globex. Again, last night's session there on the news. A lot of chop, but finally gold trending downside here in the PM session. So nice, clean entry to the downside on the GC. 6J, again, similar story here after last night's. Let's pull this back a little bit. There's last night's reaction. A lot of chop. London open. And then price action chopping up during the non-farm payrolls report, which actually was in the low number, very low number today. I think it was around 98,000 or something. All right, and so 6J pulling off to the downside, as well as the 6E in sync together with the 300 indices. Again, not a lot of, not too much noise here. 10-7 flex Renko. You got yourself out of the Globex. Small pockets of opportunity, so we finished downside on the 6E today. All right, big picture. How are we doing? Let me point out. Let me pull this up here for a second. I wanted to point out the NQ again each day in the daily trend. I like to take out one of the indices, whichever one stands out, whichever one I happen to pull. It doesn't matter whether it's the NQ or gold or whatever, but again, as I pointed out here on a 5-minute, this is a 5-minute chart, even though I have it labeled here 50 minutes. I usually like to watch it on a higher time frame. But if you got a lot of balance in the session, you might want to go to a smaller time frame. Here it is, price action from MML high to MML low, back upside and back to halfway, 50%, major support resistance. So when you have the charts in sync, you got price action to the upside, all right, lifting up here, that could be a strategy to obviously either move your stop up or exit up here. Wait for the turnaround. You got the confirmation on the HA bars. You're always welcome to, take the MML and put it on the chart here, which is always a possibility of doing that in combination together. And I do that sometimes. We could take the ES here, and you simply scroll down through the studies. There we go. We got the Murray level. We unhide it, and then all of a sudden you got your Murray level charts here. And that's how you can overlay it. I'm just putting them side by side. But again, a nice, and again, I'm not sure the MML here is set to the proper setting here for the ES, but the idea would be, let's see if we can get it on the NQ. Let's see if we can get that onto the NQ. We should be able to. Here, let's take a look. There we go. So good example here. Again, this is on a 5-4. We don't want a 5-4, so let's go to a 10-7 here. Again, the same idea. What I'm trying to show you here is that when you have this trending market upside and downside from the MMLs both up and down, you can overlay the MML on the range chart, and once price action turns itself around, here we go. So price action lifts, MML turnaround, HA bars. Now I like to read the HA bars. A Heikin Ashi bar that's trending down, I don't want to take simply a false entry. A false entry meaning, yeah, it's not trending there, okay? That's a solid body tail down. Option is to enter once down here, right? You could enter off of 29.75, place your stop up at 32.25, and have the have faith is one way of putting it, as I've been told. We have faith that price action will run down. So the overlay of the MML, here it is, but I prefer to show trend, solid body tail down. Stop is still at the same place, swing size. You work your way down, major support resistance downside here. You can see the next move up to halfway, comes back down, touches the MML. There you go, back upside, and price action a little bit choppy here. Finally gets going here. Again, you could have taken any of these, place your stop up a little bit higher. My preference is that once you got yourself clear, again, that was the first opportunity, right? I like this one, break of the cloud, and we're in sync. Not just taking a false entry. Again, what I like to see is if I'm going from high to low, I would prefer that everything was to be in the red, but if it's not, that's the risk. But here, this is a solid, good setup right here. As price action off the MML lows, you have the 51.44. Even better over here, all in the green. Even if it's from the midpoint all the way up, that's a pretty good probability. So you got to choose your entries, but nice combination of how we use the two charts. All right, as I was getting into the daily big pick as we roll off the week, NQ, again, there's your price action today, pretty much sticking to the weekly VWAP. So as we roll into Sunday's session, we'll talk more about that in the technical momentum outlook, but that's where we finished today on the NQ. Taking a look at the YM, price action again on the MMLs, finishing at the upper levels off the weekly VWAP. Again, appreciate as price action. This is the big picture I want you to see, guys, as price action rolls off of one lower MML all the way up to the upper. And again, what you want to do is you want to make sure the coverage of your MML levels covers about a day and a half of trading session. That would be your preference. Okay, off the lows of yesterday, midnight, and all the way upside. So there it is. Nice trend upside in combination with the HA bars can give yourself a nice trend. All right, last ES. Here we go across the board. ES, nice move. Holding on to the weekly VWAP. There it is, major support resistance. Again, off the lows of the MML, reaches up to the high, 50% pullback. A little bit choppy pre-market there on the non-farm payrolls. All right, we'll go look at the trade. Also, the daily charts as we brought itself upside, finishing up NQ still at the upper highs. Daily, there it is on the YM, just couldn't get above the major support and resistance. And finally on the daily here on the ES, again, still finishing downside of the 50. We'll get more into this in the weekly wrap-up. All right, Jedi traders, that's it. That concludes an insight into the daily trend today and technical momentum of the indices and key futures markets. Make sure to check out my weekly recap, which I usually post here over the weekend. There it is for week 13. I'll have one for week 14. And then make sure you check out my, where'd it go? There it is, technical momentum outlook. You want to make sure you check that out for where it is we're going. Well, I can't tell you where we're going. I can only tell you where we are on the charts and where to be prepared for both directions into next week and what economic events we'll be looking ahead to. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My mantra: one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only watch what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, I know it's a lot of charts to go through. Hopefully it's, again, to give you a mindset of where my head was on today, given day. My preference is pretty much to trade the NQ, but again, we watch the other charts in the screen share and in the trading room. So everybody with a little bit of a different strategy, everybody looking at different charts. But again, become proficient in one market, do really well. You can spread yourself across a couple markets when it comes to the futures, and then just continue to go over your charts every night, understand why you got in, why you got out, what you should have done. And, hey, tweak your charts where you need to. Make sure you have a trading plan, because that is the essential when it comes to trading, is having something down in writing. All right, if I've forgotten anything, I'm sure I will go over it next week or in the weekly review for next week. Otherwise, have yourselves a Blue Zone weekend wherever you may be. Have a good day, have a good night, and good trading to you.